What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the brand new channel MM2. This one is going to be focusing on Marvel Strike Force, maybe other Marvel games in the future, but welcome. This is going to be the first video on this channel, and with that we're going to talk about the Defenders, aka the kind of first team that you're really going to focus on as a beginning player. Now keep in mind that this is not one you're going to dump a lot of resources into because it's kind of a mid-tier team. It's fallen off in favor. There's better teams to start working on once you get this team up, but this team will allow you to get the ball rolling in places like Blitz and Raid, maybe give you a little bit of a team you can start using to be competitive in Arena. It's a decent team for you to begin with as a starting player, so this is why you should focus on them, but do keep in mind that this is not one you want to dump a lot of resources into. Let's go ahead and break down everything involving the Defenders. So what makes the Defenders the best team for new players? It comes down to three things. Number one, they are very easily accessible. You're given two of them right away at the start with Luke Cage and Punisher, and by the time you hit level 30, you should be able to unlock the rest of your Defender characters. Number two, the incredible synergy with this team. Synergy is a big deal in Marvel Strike Force. You know, there's passive abilities that buff up certain teams and whatnot, and synergy is very important for this, and the Defenders have it in spades. There's a lot of ability generation, there's a lot of buffing, there's healing, there's a lot of stuff you're gonna get with your Defenders. And number three, because of that synergy, you're going to be able to use them to clear a lot of early campaign nodes. You get a solid team to start you off in Blitz. You can use them in raids as well. That's going to get you a lot of characters you can start farming. The first character to talk about here is Luke Cage. You're giving him right away, and Luke Cage is going to be your tank for the team. He can give your team defense up, he can give himself death proof as well, but then he can also taunt and apply regeneration to Defender allies, and his basic attack can call allies to assist, and Defender allies get themselves offense up if they assist with this attack. Number two is Iron Fist. He is a sort of brawler character, but he's really the medic for the team. His passive ability can heal all Defender allies at the start of his turn, and he also has a special ability that can heal everyone on top of that as well, cleanse debuffs from himself, and also give himself some bonus speed bar or turn meter. So he's very much the medic for your squad, but his ultimate ability, Iron Fist, can deal out a lot of damage, can one-shot a lot of characters out there. He can clear positive buffs from that target, and then he gives himself offense down afterwards, but considering he just wipes someone off the map, I think you can that's a nice little trade-off for him. So great medic, some solid damage for him as well. And then next up we have Jessica Jones. She's listed as a controller in the game. I kind of like to think of her as support, because she can give out a lot of ability energy for your team with her Shake It Off ability. She can cleanse all the negative effects from your team with this ability when fully upgraded. Her passive can give a lot of resistance to Defender allies, meaning they're more likely to shrug off any kind of negative defects or negative effects placed on them. And then she can also pretty much clear all positive effects from one target. She gets a lot of bonus focus for this attack, meaning that she is pretty much guaranteed to clear all the positive effects with this ability. And then you get to her basic attack, which can hit multiple times and then generate ability energy for all your Defender allies. She is a very strong support character, and she can also kind of control things with debuffs on your team. So I guess you can call her a controller as well, but I like to think of her as support. And then finally you have Daredevil, a brawler, and he is able to deal out a lot of damage, especially at the start of the fight, with his ultimate ability called Brawl, which can chain among the entire enemy team. He can apply counter to your entire Defender squad as well, which is going to be making them very strong against AoE attacks. And then he can also give him bonus speed with his passive ability, 10% when fully upgraded, and he also gets a lot of bonus dodge chance per Defender ally, meaning he is very hard to hit as well. You're going to need him because he's your consistent damage dealer, and that huge speed to bonus for your squad, that's a big deal, plus the dodge chance makes him very annoying to attack, especially when you're fighting against a Defender squad. Since squads are made up of 5, you've got to have someone else to plug into the squad, and thankfully Fox Next kind of filled that in with the Punisher, another character you're given right at the start of the game. And the Punisher is pretty much like, there's no question that he's your best fit in for a Defender squad. He is another heavy damage dealer, so you're going to get him along with Daredevil. He can chain attacks, he can attack the entire enemy team with his ultimate at the start of the fight. So just like with Daredevil, you have 2 attacks that can hit the entire enemy team. But what really sets him apart and what makes him an absolute plug-in with your Defender squad is his passive ability, Lock and Load. Now, not only does this allow him to assist when Defender allies use non-attack abilities, like when you have Luke Cage giving your entire squad defense up, you can get Punisher to assist there, but also it gives your city heroes bonus damage against villain characters. 30% bonus damage against villains, that's a big deal. That's really what brings the Defenders up to that next level and makes them so good. This Lock and Load passive is really what kind of helps elevate the Defender squad. So you get the bonus damage with villains, but then as you upgrade this ability more, you also eventually unlock it where he counters enemies that attack a Daredevil. That's a pretty big boost in damage there. It's a very big deal, and this is really what kind of helps make him even better and makes him kind of deadly, especially if you're trying to focus down Daredevil, is Punisher can retaliate and really hurt you in the process. Now, if you want to think about other characters to plug in, I've seen players throw in Night Nurse from time to time. Another character I see a lot plugged in with your Defenders is going to be Ms. Marvel. Now, Ms. Marvel, she can assist with hero brawlers, so she's going to assist with Daredevil. She can generate ability energy for the squad. She can heal herself up. She does really plug into a Defender squad, obviously not as well as Punisher does, but she is going to fit in pretty well with the Defender squad, so she's an easy fit in with your Defenders. Now, once you have the team unlocked, there's certain abilities you should prioritize over others for upgrading. The number one priority should obviously be Punisher's Lock and Load passive. This gives him the bonus damage against villains, the chance to assist. That's your main focus in terms of passive abilities. That one really elevates the team, allows them to punch up, especially against villain targets, and then start looking at other abilities that kind of help, just kind of boost the team overall. Daredevil's Throw Baton can give more stacks of counter. The Iron Fist, Son of Kunlun passive ability can also give more healing for the Defender team. Jessica Jones' Shake It Off ability can also generate more ability energy for your team. Things that are going to help make the team perform better as a whole, those should be your main priorities. So things that are going to help buff the team better, that's what you should focus on for priority. That's what you should prioritize for upgrading abilities first. Those bonuses, those buffs, that's going to really help the team reach its true potential. So in terms of positioning, this is where things kind of get a little weird. And honestly, I think something that that you could use for this, we'll go here. I'll talk about how I like to position the team. Let's talk about this. So usually the way I have a position is a little weird here. Let me throw in, I put Jessica Jones over by Luke Cage for the simple reason of she's kind of the most tanky of the characters after Luke, and since Luke is going to be taunting so often, there's going to be a lot of splash damage and everything. So whoever you have next to Luke, it's going to take a lot of damage. So probably the best place to throw him in. Now, in terms of who you throw here in the center, I like to throw Iron Fist, and then I like to put Punisher out here on the outside edge. Now, the Punisher, he doesn't have that Defender's faction tag, so he's not going to get a lot of the boosts of healing and everything like you would get with Iron Fist. So having Punisher on the outside here gonna help minimize the splash damage he takes, a lot of the focus that he takes from attacks. It's something you just want to do to help make him, a little more survivable. And then you can kind of switch Daredevil and Iron Fist here a little bit. But one thing that I keep in mind with that is that Daredevil, if you don't have him dodging a lot, he's gonna take a lot of damage, and while you can have the counters with Punisher to help kind of counteract that, if you lose Daredevil, you lose Daredevil, and there's no revives with this team. So I like to put Iron Fist here in the center and kind of keep Daredevil out here on the outer middle edge. Just kind of help, keep things going there, and don't really have a lot of focus on Daredevil for those attacks. That's kind of how I like to position it. I know some people will kind of switch this up a little bit as well. I've seen Daredevil here in the center sometimes. There's no real need for adjacent allies. It's the whole team-wide gets buffs and healing and everything, so you don't have to have adjacent allies really. It's just kind of help maximizing the potential of this team. This is how I like to position them. So with your defenders, you're gonna have a team that really punches above its weight, can get you a pretty good head start in Blitz and Arena. And in terms of teams you want to fight against, it's highly recommended that you go for villain-specific teams, since Punisher's here to really give your damage boost against villains. But some teams to really avoid for these guys. Big one is going to be Sinister Six. Avoid them like the plague, because Sinister Six is specifically tailored to counter defender teams. And I learned this the hard way when I tried to go fight underpowered Sinister Six teams and just get absolutely wiped off the map with them. So definitely you want to avoid your Sinister Six teams. Anything that's going to counter City Heroes specifically, those are teams you really want to avoid. And also probably Magneto and Brotherhood. That one's definitely one you probably want to do your best to avoid as well. You can cleanse debuffs and stuff, but it's very difficult as well to fight them. But you do have a team that's mid-tier that can get you some solid leads, and maybe even those mix and match teams you're going to find out there. Kree, you can defeat Kree pretty easily with your defenders too. Honestly, at the end of the day, you are not getting a super strong team. That's the one drawback with defenders. But no team is in a better position to be a starting team for you to play with as a beginner. There's no better team for you. So that's why you want to go for defenders. It gets you a mid-tier team, gives you some decent stuff, and obviously you want to build up to better teams, but defenders will get you a good head start in the game, and that's what makes them so important. That's why you should focus on them overall as your first team. So let me know down below in the comments, do you guys have any questions about defenders? Anything you guys want to know? If you guys did enjoy this video, feel free to hit that like button, also hit that subscribe button. Let's get this new channel started and going. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys next time.